Hey everybody, Hans here. Wanted to push out a video this evening to tell everybody a little bit more about myself and what this channel is going to be about. YouTube, Instagram, all these different platforms, they're full of videos and full of good content. And over the short time that I've been utilizing these platforms, many of the videos have come in very handy in my daily life. Anything from changing out a throttle body on my Ford Expedition to learning how to make YouTube videos, which I still claim to be to be a novice at. But I do appreciate any feedback that you guys can provide that would help me make these videos better. And I do continue to learn from those that have been doing this much longer than I have. So again, thank you for your feedback. I appreciate that. So with that said, let me first say again that I appreciate anyone and everyone for their support as I continue to grow this community. I do not have this all figured out, but I do have a lot to offer and a lot that I can share. And I have a lot of background in different areas, and I feel that could be useful to a lot of different applications. So again, if there is such a place to where you can have everything perfectly figured out, I'll leave that as the question of the day, right? So kind of jumping into a little bit more about me, my wife and I, we have been blessed with a large family. We have 7 kids. We have 3 boys, 4 girls in that order. They range from 13 down to my 6-month-old. Awesome kids, all have their own personalities, needs, wants, wishes, aspirations. It's truly awesome. I can't wait to see where they go in life. I am a program manager in the defense industry, and my wife is a labor and delivery nurse. She loves babies. What can I say? At the end of the month, we will be celebrating our 14-year anniversary. So, that's pretty awesome in itself. Never imagined myself where I am today. So, again, yeah, I can't be more thankful for it all. Let me just tell you, there's been so much that we've done in those 14 years. We've lived in 2 states. We've lived in 5 different houses. Again, we have 7 amazing kids. And it's truly it's wild, where the time goes, and it's truly awesome where the memories are made and where they're created. So always take advantage of making memories no matter where you are and what you're doing. Again, I mentioned that I've got quite a background. So I grew up in a construction household. My dad was a contractor, had his own business, from the time I was little, all the way up until a few years ago when he retired out of it. After graduating high school, I joined the Marine Corps in 2001. So I was in boot camp actually when 9/11 happened, and so that was quite kind of an eerie time for everybody. For those who may not be familiar, Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego backs up to the San Diego airport, separated by a wall. So going from airplanes moving in and out at from sun up to sundown to nothing was quite an eye-opening event for us, even though we were a bit sheltered being in boot camp. I did deploy twice while I was in the Marine Corps, both times into Iraq, and many different stories there that I probably won't get into too much here on this platform. I was a parachute rigger in the Marine Corps, so I packed parachutes for personnel and equipment. And every once in a while, actually quite often, they let me jump out of the perfectly good airplanes, right, that we hear about, and helicopters. I did go through Jump Master School in 2003, and that was probably one of the coolest jobs that I had in the Marine Corps, of being a jump master, and the responsibility of that. You really just can't beat it. So, anyways, after I got out of the Marine Corps in 2005, I took a little time, went back to school, but there was something missing, and I think at the end of the day, I figured out that it was kind of the camaraderie and the purpose that the Marine Corps instilled into me. And so in 2006, at the end of 2006, I joined the Army National Guard. It was a little bit career focused too. At the time, I had aspirations of becoming a law enforcement. So I joined the Army National Guard as a military police, and I continued that journey up until about 2009 when I did a lateral move to become a combat engineer ahead of a deployment that we had coming up. So my last deployment was in the Army in 2010, and that was over to Kuwait. That was kind of part of the retrograde out of Iraq. So it was kind of cool if I could go back for just a quick second. I was in Iraq in 2003 at the beginning of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I was in Kuwait during the transition to Operation New Dawn. So kind of a cool thought there. Obviously, a long effort, and many brothers and sisters who have suffered from it. So certainly appreciate all the efforts that everybody's given on those fronts, and those who continue to do so today. So, like I said, I deployed in 2010. My oldest son was actually born at the end of 2009, and he was actually 2.5 weeks old when I left for my mobilization training in Texas. So that was a pretty hard transition, going from a new father to bachelor within such a short period. But I will say, one of the things that was very useful was technology, right? So we've come such a long ways in the 13 years since then, but Skype was a savior to us back then. I was able to video chat with my wife and son. And, when I got back a year later, I didn't feel like such a stranger, which was pretty awesome. So technology's great, has a lot of power, has a lot of uses, and I think it's important that we all understand it and learn from it. So again, I separated back in 2012. Decided, I had to make some choices, and growing through the ranks in the military, my civilian career, my family, had to really kind of figure out what I wanted out of life, and I chose to focus on my civilian career and my family. So, part of what made that transition a little bit easier for me was the area that I moved into, which was, simulation and training, essentially. And today, I get a lot of my fulfillment supporting the men and women of the armed services and providing training platforms from, air, land, and sea across all those domains. So very fulfilling work, and I love that I get to still be working with a lot of prior service veterans and supporting the men and women of our current military today. A little extra fun fact about me. So almost 18 years exactly after an incident while I was in the Marine Corps, I was retroactively awarded a Purple Heart. The cool part of that story is that my buddy who joined the Marine Corps with me back in 2001, he stayed in the Marine Corps when I separated, and he's still in today. He's got over 20 years of service in the Marine Corps, but he was actually the one that was able to come and present the Purple Heart to me here in Florida, and that was a pretty special day. And huge shout outs to the 4th AA Battalion here in Tampa as well. They were very supportive in holding that ceremony and supporting the meaning behind that. And I really couldn't thank them enough and for their support. So, I have many hobbies, many interests, and I've enjoyed, picking up different things over the years. You can see on some of my walls here, I've got some bourbons up, more kind of back here behind me. On the wall to the right, which is kind of hard to see, I've got my guns up. using the Galotech gun racks. And as you can kind of see back here behind me, this room is called the BCG room. Bourbon Cigars and Guns is kind of the slogan in here. I've got my humidor kind of right over here behind me, which I'll kind of do reviews or discussions on some of these things in other videos. So those would be some of the areas we can focus on in future videos. Other things that I would like to do in these videos would be reviews on products, in daily life, whether it's around the house or, with our busy family. We're always trying to find things that make life that much easier or take that much less time so that we can, use that time elsewhere, right? So if you guys have ideas on things that you'd like to hear more about, drop a comment below and we'll see what we can do about making some videos and opening up that discussion. As I mentioned earlier, YouTube, Instagram, all these other platforms, are full of videos and just full of resources, essentially and literally at your fingertips. I've been learning a lot over the course of, I'll say a few months. And I've started following certain people on YouTube that either kind of align with interests that I have, hobbies that I have, etc. So I wanted to kind of just throw them out here as some other points of interest that you guys might enjoy. So the first one I'm just going to throw out there is Jeremy Sires. He's got kind of a cool channel. Guys putting out awesome content. Anything from garage remodels to cigars to bourbons, kind of you name it. And he's out there doing product reviews, etc. Definitely recommend checking his YouTube channel out for that all around, kind of as he says, the man shit. Kind of cool content. So I've really kind of enjoyed his videos and would recommend you heading over there. Another person that I've really enjoyed following here recently, his name is Azul, Azul. And totally different topic from Jeremy, but Azul gives, in his professional life, he's a financial advisor by trade. He does not claim to be one on YouTube, so just make sure that's clear. But his videos are short. They provide a lot of great advice and thoughts and ideas, etc. So while his advice is just that, his advice, you still have to do your due diligence and whatnot. He opens up kind of that spectrum for you to go think about as it applies to your life. Me personally, with 7 kids, I firmly believe that kind of planning for your future is not only important, but it's also for those generations behind you. So for our kids and our future grandkids, it's important for us to kind of take all that into consideration. So I would also like to be making some videos in the future on different things that we use, different mechanisms. There's so many things throughout life, and I think we all, want to be able to support our kids. I don't want to say we want to provide everything for our kids, but we do want to be able to support them and more importantly, guide them. So I'll shoot to do some videos on things that we do, and how those are thought out for the long term. And I'd be interested to hear any thoughts that you guys have in regards to making some of those videos, because really, again, this is a community, and the more you can share, the more you can glean from others, the better. So again, more videos coming on that. So I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to again thank you everybody, for visiting the channel, supporting the channel. Please come and join the community here. Appreciate you helping growing it, and I hope that you'll come back and visit again. So as Jeremy says, smash the like button or as Zool says, thumbs for likes, subs for love. Again, appreciate the support, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. Have a good one.